Disney World is truly a magical place. Just a few years ago, the crowd dynamic was relatively predictable. As school went into session, we had a relatively slow season, very low crowds at Walt Disney World. There was a medium season and a peak season right around the holidays and for summer break. But like magic, they pull up their sleeves at Walt Disney World, bibbidi bobbidi boo, and it feels crowded all the time. Now, I'm not saying that we don't see the ebb and flow of the crowds throughout the year. We definitely do, especially with that school schedule. Right when school's going to session, you can find very low crowds at Walt Disney World, not as low as they used to be, but lower than if you went during the holidays. But Disney has a solution for this. Are you ready? Pulling up those sleeves with the magic they're going to make more guest rooms? At the time of filming, Disney has confirmed 4 different new resorts being built all around Walt Disney World. And as excited as I am for these new resorts, how is this going to solve the problem of overcrowding at Walt Disney World? To me, this feels like they're going to add even more people to the parks and it's going to get even more crowded. Now let's dive into some of those details. At the new Riviera Resort, which is a DVC location, they're adding 300 new guest rooms. At the Coronado Springs Tower, 545 new guest rooms. The Star Wars Resort, which we don't know too much about at the time of filming, but I'm going to estimate is going to have at the minimum 200 rooms, so let's just say 200 for the purposes of this video, but it definitely will be more than that. And most recently announced, the new nature-themed resort that's going to go where River Country is between Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground and Wilderness Lodge will be adding 900 new guest rooms. In total, that is almost 2,000 more guest rooms. 2,000 more rooms that are going to house guests that are going to visit the parks on a daily basis. To give you some reference, the Contemporary Resort Tower, that entire tower where the monorail goes through, that houses 500 guest rooms. 4 times that amount of people is coming to the parks in the future. Needless to say, that is a ton more guests in the parks each and every day. And that's probably not it. We've heard rumors of other resorts, but right now, those 4 are the only ones that are confirmed by Disney. When I see all of this construction happening of all of these new resorts, I immediately think to myself, Disney believes that they can fill all of these rooms on a frequent basis, right? Absolutely. They would not be investing this much money if they were not confident that they would be filling them to capacity or close to it on a very regular basis. And Disney is not just guessing. They don't just have a room full of people who say, well, I hope we have people come in here. Not at all. They have experts in the field of predicting where crowds will go in the future and the future of Disney parks. They are super smart. They know exactly what they're talking about, and there is probably a 99.9% probability that this all works out just to Disney's liking and exactly as they predicted. But with all of these new resorts and all of those brand new rooms and the guests who will be coming to the parks in the future, it runs into a very big problem. Space. And I'm not talking about space in the resorts or around Walt Disney World, I'm talking about space in the parks. Now you may be thinking, Michael, this just doesn't matter to Disney. Disney doesn't mind if there's a 3-hour wait for every single ride all around and we just have to wait forever and ever and ever and it becomes a less magical experience. Right there, right with that thought, less magical experience, Disney does not want that to happen. Now how do I know this? How am I sure that Disney is really interested in the most magical experience possible? Well, I could give you all sorts of examples about how if you go to Walt Disney World and you don't like it and it's not magical, you won't return, but I can give you another example based on something else that Disney's doing with the Disney Cruise Line. A few days ago on a live stream on my channel, a friend of mine asked me, Michael, what do you think about Disney perhaps building bigger ships in the future for the Disney Cruise Line, maybe comparable to the Royal Caribbean ships? And just to give you an example, Royal Caribbean has these mega ships that can fit 6,000, 8,000, I have no idea. A lot of people on there, and Disney has ships that fit around 2,000, 2,500 guests, so it's just larger versus smaller. Why is Disney sticking with this smaller, I know it seems large to us, but smaller in comparison ships to the mega ships that some of the other cruise manufacturers are making?
First of all, this particular Disney Cruise Line is smaller than the other ships, but you can also tell it's the most visually appealing, right? It's the nicest just from the outside. Those colors with the cleanliness of the ship versus the other ships definitely makes it stand out in that crowd.
Disney could make more money with a bigger ship, very little doubt about it, but they want the experience to be magical so that we'll come back again and again and again. And it makes a lot of sense. Make the ships kind of relatively small compared to the mega ships that some of the other cruise lines are using, and then get repeat customers because they enjoyed their experience so much. Disney has that same idea when it comes to Walt Disney World as well. They want guests to enjoy every moment so they come back again. It's a good business strategy, and it works for us too because we have a great time. So you can see where I'm going with this. Disney has 4 different parks at Walt Disney World that seem to be bursting at the seams when it comes to crowds, and now they're building 4 new resorts for more crowds to come to Walt Disney World. What's the plan? I have gone over this question over and over and over again in my head, and I've come up with 2 solutions, and both of them involve more space. Option 1, Disney could continue to expand their current parks all around Walt Disney World. We see the Tron Light Cycle ride coming to Magic Kingdom, Toy Story Land, Pandora, the upcoming Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. But is that enough? Is that really enough for 2,000 more rooms full of guests? And just imagine for a moment 3 guests on average per room, coming from my imagination, 6,000 more guests on average all the time. Throughout the year, 6,000 more people all around Walt Disney World. Is just expanding the parks enough? In my opinion, maybe. If they continue to expand at an extremely fast rate, let's say they have an Indiana Jones themed land and a Zootopia land, and they're opening at the same time, and even more places at Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom, and they continue faster and faster and faster and more lands, it is possible that that is the solution, but it also might be possible that they have something else entirely new on their mind. We've bounced this idea around a few times, and Disney World definitely has enough space for it. The idea of a 5th theme park. Now, we've gone into detail before about what I think this 5th gate could be in the future and when it might happen. Maybe Disney will buy all these things from 21st Century Fox and then trade them to Universal for the rights to bring Marvel, and then have a Marvel land with Wakanda and Captain America area. It would be incredible, it really would. But is that the solution? Is that what is on Disney's mind? I think the best way to figure this out is to look right now on their website and take a look at the rooms that are available for a few days from now. If I take a look on Disney's website just at the time of filming and look at the weekend, a few weekdays, and try and figure out if there's anything available. Let's say I'm a last-minute planner, I'm just looking to stay at Walt Disney World, and there's not much available. If that is the case, and it's very frequent that we see that there's really not much available at Walt Disney World, and they constantly sell out like this, then I think the idea of a 5th gate is rather unlikely. If you're a last-minute planner and you really want to go to Walt Disney World and you see that all of the Disney resorts are filled to capacity, what are you likely to do? Not go at all, or stay at an off-site resort? That answer may be different for many people, and that's understandable, but I have a feeling Disney has done the math here, and they think that those who are staying off-site might be more interested in staying on-site, especially if they're a last-minute planner. And that leads us to a bigger question. Is Disney doing all of this expansion with those resorts simply because they're trying to get those guests who are staying off-site and coming to Disney anyway to stay on-site, or is this because they're thinking about expanding the different parks right now, or maybe a 5th gate? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I don't know, but if I had to guess based on what I'm seeing with the reservation system right now on Disney's website, I have a feeling they're just trying to pull in those guests who are staying off-site to stay on-site. No matter what the underlying reason, I am glad that Disney is continuing to invest heavily at Walt Disney World. It shows that they really are interested in continuing the magic at the place where dreams come true, and it gives us more places to explore when we're there. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.